What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back at it to answer all your questions. Well, not all of them. Mostly your questions on this episode of For the Greater
WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer your questions that you comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first.
And that is exactly what Roman Guevara did. Question. When humans become Space Marines, it is told that they lose their memories of their previous life. Isn't this counterproductive? Their skills, knowledge, and experience is what made them worthy in the first place to be a Space Marine. As always, good job with the content, especially the grim, dark battles. Really like the idea. Thanks. And he goes on to say, P.S. I also have read Invincible. It was a great comic, and thanks for the recommendation. Told you guys, read Invincible. It's really good.
I was actually at the Wizard World convention when Invincible came out, and they had their first issue that they were giving away.
That thing's worth gold.
I threw it away.
You threw it away?
Yeah. They were giving it away for free, though.
Yeah, they usually do that. Like, they have, like, usually whenever a comic book starts out, the first issue's, like, free or, like, 25 cents or something like that.
So how much is it worth now?
I don't know. I think it depends on, like, the grading of it and if it's, like, signed or whatever.
Well, anyways.
Yeah. Good question. Yeah, it does seem kind of counterproductive for them to lose all their experiences that literally made them a contender to be a Space Marine.
Yeah. Now, what I would say, though, is that not every single chapter erases the memories of their
Previous life.
Right. There's a lot of chapters that maintain that, especially if they have already, if they already have a family.
The salamanders, right?
Yeah. So, with that said, oh, and I know I'm gonna get questions of like, oh, so then Space Marines can have children? No, they had children before they were Space Marines, and yes, they were like 18, 19, whatever. But anyways, so that leads me to believe that the Space Marines themselves have the technology to erase certain things in a person's memory, especially a librarian who can go into the mind of a human and actually start like ripping away certain memories, creating false memories, things like that. So in essence, that's what it mind wipes the person, but not to the extent where it gets rid of like the tactics that made them beneficial to become Astartes. At the same time, if that does happen, muscle memory I think plays another big part into like. And yes, I'm gonna go into this.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for it.
So there's actually the cells in your body. The way that muscle memory works is that you have a small brain in your stomach.
And in each individual cell.
And in each individual cell. And they're you, man. And that's where I'll leave it.
That's you.
That's you, man.
Do you. To add to that, yeah, the thing that when you asked this question, the thing that came to mind was to all my minds was the Space Wolves initiation. It has a lot to do with your previous self. Usually you're like one of the best fighters in your tribe, and then you get a chance to prove yourself to the Sky Warriors, the Space Marines, that you're worthy of this.
You a G.
Yeah. Some chapters, if they do erase all your memories, that's because they want you to focus 100% on the Emperor's goals, the goals for your chapter, and that is to fight and basically die for the Emperor. And they don't care what made you become this. You are now this, and this is your whole life.
True that. Good question. Next one comes from the Giga Slayer. Isn't that a Digimon? Can the Space Wolves have successor chapters now that the Primaris Marines are around? Has the Primaris process gotten rid of the more serious mutations like the Black Rage and the Wolfen Rage? So first off, no, the Primaris gene did not get rid of the previous gene flaws like the Wolfen Curse. And secondly, I don't think that a successor chapter for the Primaris would benefit the Space Wolves at all. Right?
Yeah, because the Space Wolves don't have, like, successor chapters.
They don't have restrictions either.
Yeah, they don't really follow the Codex Astartes.
Yeah. Hope that answers it. Next one.
This one is by Red Crab. I read in a Dark Eldar story about a gate surrounded by a considerable amount of incubi bodyguards, and if you're near it for too long, you go insane. What is behind that door? The warp? Is it somehow connected to the one on Terra? So I don't know what story you're referring to. Most likely, it's probably like a warp gate or something.
Probably something we're gonna find out about in a novel, or sometime in the lore.
Hopefully, in the Codex that's coming out soon. Soon-ish.
Yeah. Next question comes from Michael Howell. Do the Custodes have any apothecaries? A custodian gene seed seems to be an assert to value.
Oh yeah.
An asset to value.
An asset, yeah.
So do they have apothecaries?
I believe there's a Forge Road model for it. Not a wait, no, yes. I may be thinking of the Primaris.
We'll get back to you on that one.
I'm sure the comments will answer that for us. This one is by Mandalore the Hunter. Hey fam.
What up? Oh wait, hold on. Before we get to Mandalore the Hunter, damn, I didn't even read his name, but he's a regular. But anyways, perhaps it's that, because you know how every single Adeptus Custodes is a librarian in a way. Maybe it's that every single Adeptus Custodes has the know-how to save that gene seed. But anyways, let's go back.
Hey fam, is it actually true that all suits of Terminator armor have a piece of the Emperor in it? The Emperor's armor. It's that little badge they wear. What's it called?
The badge?
Crux Terminatus.
Ah.
Yep. So, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So, yes. Next question comes from Colesnipper 76. What are the Damned Legion, and why do they not help the Imperium of Man more than what they're doing now? So what are they? Check out our 40 facts on the Legion of the Damned.
They're ghosts.
Basically. Well, they're a Space Marine chapter that was trapped in the Imperium.
Was it the Firehawks?
Yeah, the Firehawks. And now they're just all over the place.
Think of them as not as strong as Caldor Drago, because they could appear at different parts of the galaxy and whatnot.
Simultaneously sometimes.
Yeah, yep. Gabriel Lichty. Is the Imperial Guard a good starter faction for someone looking to get into the tabletop game?
I would say yeah. So really what's going to make a good army, a good starter army, is if you enjoy it. If you find it aesthetically pleasing, if you can't wait to build and play it, it's going to be a good army for you.
Mm-hmm. If you're talking about tournament play, that kind of thing, they're actually one of the top tier armies right now. I believe it's wielding a bunch of conscripts. Is that blobs? Huge blob of infantry. That's really good because you got so many shots that eventually the dice got's gonna get wounds on and whatnot, and then you can further bolster them with the tanks and aerial fighters.
It's gonna be expensive though.
Yeah, it is because you got to get a lot of it, and they're not so tough hand to hand because they're just humans. But yeah, they're a good starting army. Like you said, any army is a good starting army if you're really devoted to it.
The next question comes from Zanchna. Will you answer this question?
No. Yes. Yes.
Are you Zinch?
Maybe.
Next question.
Dragon Punch 903. Do you guys play Fortnite? And if so, would you guys like a 40k version of it?
Don't know what that is. So
Fortnite is it's like a last man standing kind of game. So basically, do you know what Battlegrounds is?
Nope.
No? Okay, so there's there's different variants, but the one that's most common is 100 people go into this huge map, and you gotta find guns, armor, that kind of stuff, and it's you against 99 other people. You only have one life, and when you die, there's no resurrecting. Eventually, the map gets smaller and smaller and smaller, forcing you to get into a bunch of battles you have to win, and the last player surviving wins.
That sounds awesome for the 40k universe.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really badass if you could play as an Imperial Guardman. And then like, so on top of your enemies, the other players, do you also have like wildlife and stuff that you have to
No, but supposedly that's going to be added later on.
Because that'd be cool. Like, what if it's a Tyranid invasion?
Yeah, and it's just you against
everybody. Yeah, because you're going to be like fighting for yourself.
Right.
Damn, someone needs to get on that right now.
Yeah, that is... I just played the game maybe a week ago because I saw it everywhere. Like, it's free too.
Oh, wow.
So you can just download it on Xbox, PC, or PlayStation.
I'm going to get on that.
Yeah, it's pretty addicting.
Next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. How does a marriage work in 40k? And how each race customs different?
The what?
So marriage and the custom of marriage in every single So let's start off with the quick one. The Orcs doesn't exist. Tyranids doesn't exist. Dark Eldar, they have open relationships. It's just a giant swinger club basically. Mm-hmm. And then the Eldar, that's tricky because there has to be path. Like they have to, like an Eldar has to follow a path, or like a discipline, and then at the same time, it would, like, the purpose of like being together is to reproduce, but an Eldar can't really. It's very hard for an Eldar to reproduce, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how that works.
Yeah. For the Tau, you got to be within your caste, unless you're the Far Side Enclaves, where it's a party everywhere.
Swingers.
Necrons, they're all mindless. It doesn't exist.
Now wait, that brings up the question then. For the Tau, you can, so then an Earth caste can be with an Air caste, but are they compatible in terms of having offspring?
Yeah, because they're all the same species.
So what? So then you have a half really tall, half really short.
Well, that's why the Ethereals say you got to be in that same caste.
So then
the Ethereals control all that.
But then when that doesn't happen, then what happens to the child?
The Ethereals take it away. I don't know.
No, because they're in the Far Side Enclaves.
Oh, in the Far Side Enclaves. Yeah, you got a point there.
So does that mean that, like, because you know how on Earth, like, we're slowly all just kind of breeding with each other, and especially like here in America, like your race or your ethnicity is like blurring the longer the generations go on. Is that what's going to happen with the castes for the Tau?
Probably.
In the Far Side Enclaves? Like there will be no more castes because there is no specialization?
Right. They're all eventually have the same traits of one being. Like they'll look similar but not exactly alike.
So is that another reason why the Tau is way better than any other race in the 40k universe?
Only if you're in the Far Side Enclaves.
Representation. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, moving on.
I think we hit them all, didn't we?
What did we say for the Imperium?
Oh, we didn't.
So marriage in the Imperium depends on the world that you live on and your class. If you are high class, it's just like any high class here. You kind of want to marry somebody who's also very like...
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
And then, of course, in like worlds where all you have to do is provide weapons for the war, marriage isn't as important. And sometimes like it's just about reproducing. I don't think that they have like women just popping out babies, because I think they'll do the, what is it called when it's an outside womb?
Damn.
Well, that.
So
it really depends. It's all over the place. Next question. This will be the last question. I have one from People's Opium. Will the Emperor ever walk again? That's if he's in a wheelchair. And if he does, will Inquisitor Savik have something to do with it? I don't know who that Inquisitor is. I know Inquisitor Eisenhorn.
Oh, they came out with a model for him, didn't they?
Yeah, is that even his name?
That is an Inquisitor.
Okay, then yeah, it is. No, I don't think he's ever gonna come back.
The only way the Emperor would walk again is if he either died and came back, his perpetualness. But as of right now, no.
And those were the questions for today. Thank you for sending those questions our way. If you have more questions for us, comment down below.
As always, guys, if we didn't get to your question this time, try again. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. Or you can head on over to Patreon. There we answer all our patron-specific questions in our Patron for the Greater WAAAGH videos. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh 1.
And we are out of here.